What if I told you that the person you believe you are is only half the story? What if I said you've been living with a stranger inside of you? Not someone evil, not someone broken, but someone you've forgotten. Someone buried beneath all the expectations, routines, and roles you've been forced to play. Carl Jung believed that every person carries two lives, the one we consciously live and the one hidden in the shadows of our own mind. And unless we acknowledge both, we're never truly whole. You wake up, you go to work, you smile when you're supposed to, you say the right things to the right people. Maybe you're successful, maybe people like you, maybe they even admire you. But sometimes, in the quiet of your own mind, a different voice speaks. A question emerges. Is this really me, or is this just the version of me that the world expects? We all wear a mask. Jung called it the persona. It's the social self, the identity we craft and shape to survive in the world. It's not fake, it serves a purpose. But the longer we wear it, the more we start to believe that it's all there is. We become our job title, our status, our image. But underneath that mask is someone more honest, more raw, more real. You see, when you suppress your true nature, your real thoughts, your unfiltered emotions, they don't disappear. They sink. They become part of what Jung called the shadow. It's not a monster. It's not evil. It's simply the parts of you you've pushed away. The things you're ashamed of. The feelings you never allowed yourself to feel. The dreams you abandoned because they weren't practical or acceptable. Most people are terrified of their shadow. That's why they keep themselves busy, distracted, entertained, addicted. Anything to avoid sitting in silence with the parts of themselves they don't want to face. But the shadow doesn't go away. It festers. And one day, it leaks out through anger, resentment, anxiety, depression, jealousy. We wonder why we overreact, why we self-sabotage, why we feel lost. It's because the parts of us we ignored have started to speak. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." In other words, if you don't face your inner world will control your outer life. You'll think it's just bad luck, just the way things are. But really, it's you, fighting yourself blindly. Now here's where it gets powerful. That darkness you avoid, it's not there to hurt you, and it's there to guide you. Inside the shadow lies your greatest potential, your creativity, your confidence, your passion, your voice. The things you suppressed because someone once told you they were too much or not enough. The shadow is not your enemy, it's your teacher. It's the key to becoming whole. But wholeness doesn't mean perfection. It means integration. It means embracing all of who you are, the light and the dark, the noble and the flawed, the calm and the chaotic. Jung called this process individuation. It's the journey of becoming your true self. Not the self that's been molded by parents, teachers, or society. The self that's always been there, waiting to be rediscovered. And let's be honest, this path is not easy. It requires courage. It requires honesty. It requires breaking illusions you've clung to for years. You'll have to face wounds you've buried. You'll have to admit things to yourself that make you uncomfortable. But in that discomfort, there's freedom. Most people never take this path. They stay in the safety of their persona. They live predictable lives. They follow scripts. They play roles. And yet something always feels off. There's a quiet sadness, a sense of being unfulfilled no matter how much they achieve. That's because deep fulfillment doesn't come from success. It comes from alignment, from living in truth with who you really are. If you've ever felt like something's missing, even when everything looks fine on the outside, that's the signal. That's your soul knocking. That's your shadow saying, there's more to you than this. One of the most profound tools Jung used to understand the unconscious was dream analysis. He believed dreams were not random. They are symbolic messages from the deeper parts of our mind. While science still debates the meaning of dreams, Jung saw them as a direct connection to the soul. If you keep having dreams where you're falling, running, being chased, or searching, your unconscious is trying to tell you something. Your mind speaks in symbols: a locked door, a staircase, a wild animal, a storm. These images aren't meaningless. They're metaphors for something deeper, something real. They reveal what's unresolved, what's been forgotten, and what you need to heal. But the shadow doesn't just appear in dreams. It shows up in your reactions. The people who trigger you the most? They're often reflecting something about yourself you haven't accepted. The jealousy you feel? It might point to a part of you that longs to be expressed. The anger? It might come from a part of you that's tired of being silent. This is not about blame, it's about awareness. Self-awareness is the beginning of transformation. When you realize that your emotions are messengers, not enemies, everything changes. You stop running from yourself. You start listening. Jung also believed in something deeper than the personal unconscious. He called it the collective unconscious. It's a shared realm of knowledge, patterns, and archetypes that every human being taps into. That's why myths, religions, and stories from all over the world share similar themes. The hero, the villain, the wise mentor, the innocent child. These are not just characters. They are symbols of our inner experience. When you resonate with a movie or a book on a deep level, it's not just entertainment. It's your unconscious recognizing itself. You see your journey reflected in the story. That's the power of archetypes. They help us understand ourselves, across time, across culture, across generations. The hero's journey, made famous by Joseph Campbell but rooted in Jungian theory, mirrors the path of individuation. You start in the ordinary world. You hear the call to adventure. You resist it. You face trials. You meet mentors. You confront your greatest fear. And eventually, you return transformed. That's not just a myth. That's your life. You are the hero. Your shadow is the dragon. And your true self, the integrated, authentic, fearless version of you, is the treasure. But there's no treasure without the trial. You have to walk into the dark. You have to lose who you were to become who you are. That might mean letting go of old beliefs, old identities, old relationships, and yes, that can be painful. But the pain of growth is nothing compared to the pain of stagnation. Because here's the truth. When you live out of alignment with your true self, you suffer. Even if things look good on the outside, your soul knows when you're lying to yourself, and it will keep sending you signs, anxiety, emptiness, disconnection. These aren't flaws. They're alarms, wake-up calls. It's okay to feel lost. It's okay to be confused. In fact, those are signs you're ready for transformation. You're waking up. You're starting to see that life isn't just about survival, it's about becoming. So how do you start? You start by slowing down, listening, feeling, journaling, meditating, reflecting. You ask yourself, who am I when no one's watching? What do I believe, truly believe, not just what I was taught to believe? What do I desire, fear, crave, avoid? What am I pretending not to know? These questions aren't easy, but they're necessary, because in answering them, you begin to peel back the layers. You begin to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. This is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong journey. You'll lose yourself and find yourself again and again. But each time, you'll come back with more clarity, more strength, more authenticity. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. With yourself, with your truth. Because the real goal is not to become someone else. It's to become fully, unapologetically, you. And here's the most beautiful part. When you do the inner work, your outer world shifts. Relationships become more real. Goals become more meaningful. You stop chasing things and start attracting what aligns with your spirit. You become magnetic, not because you're trying, but because you're authentic. People are drawn to truth, to depth, to those rare souls who have faced themselves and emerged whole. That's what Jung offers us. Not a quick fix, not a set of hacks, but a deep transformative path to self-realization. A path that asks everything of you, but gives you everything in return. So if you felt that pull, that quiet voice saying there's more to you than this, trust it. You're not broken. You're just unfinished. And maybe that's exactly where you're meant to be right now. Because the moment you stop pretending is the moment your real life begins. Your mask served you. It protected you. But you're ready now. Ready to feel, ready to see, ready to be. Behind your persona is your power. Inside your shadow is your wisdom. In your dreams lies your compass. And at your core is the self, the eternal you, the you that's never left. It's time to go home. Thank you for watching. See you again soon.